This is an incredibly disturbing and horrific case of extreme child abuse, sexual assault, and attempted murder. The details are truly sickening and appalling. A few key points. A teenage girl was repeatedly burned with rubbing alcohol, shot multiple times, and sexually assaulted over months by her own mother's boyfriend, identified as Washington. Her mother, Harris, not only knew about the ongoing sexual abuse, but blamed and tortured the victim herself by intentionally burning her rather than protecting her. They left the girl for dead after shooting her and traveled to Texas before being apprehended. A 10-year-old child witnessed the heinous abuse and torture of the teen victim over an extended period. Evidence of the crimes, including blood, gunshot residue, and decomposing flesh, was found at their home. This represents incomprehensible levels of depravity, cruelty, and evil inflicted on a child by the very people who should have protected
On April
her.
21st, police in Baytown, Texas responded to a traffic accident. That's when they encountered 40-year-old LaTanya Harris and 41-year-old Terrence Washington, as well as Harris's 15-year-old daughter, who had been severely burned and shot.
Being a dad, that's a protective dad, to get that phone call, I'm not okay. Because I feel like I didn't do what I needed to do to protect my child.
After being taken into custody, Washington eventually confessed to sexually abusing the victim, shooting her, and having knowledge of an incident in which Harris set the girl on fire. She
will make it. She has a long, long, long road to recovery. And not just physical, but mentally, man. That's not good.
Investigators say all of those alleged crimes happened on West Park Avenue in Thibodaux, where they all lived.
It's horrible. It's unbelievable what people are capable of doing. And I'm just in shock at it because that poor child.
Harris and Washington are now both in custody, facing charges of attempted first-degree murder, cruelty to a juvenile, and numerous other crimes.
I'm going to do everything I can to make sure she's okay, that justice is served. She know everybody love her. She know I love her. She hears from me every day. There's not a day go by she don't hear from me.
In our next story, we would like to share the case of Melissa Barnes. The alleged actions of 22-year-old Melissa Barnes putting bleach into a baby bottle to potentially feed her 13-month-old daughter is unconscionably reckless and dangerous. Ingesting bleach could be fatal for an infant. The fact that she was reportedly living with her baby in a shed without power already suggests unfit living conditions for a child that young. Proper utilities, sanitation, and safety should be basic requirements. It's very fortunate that a relative intervened and inspected the bottle before the baby ingested the bleach. This could have prevented a tragedy. However, even the attempt to feed an infant bleach, whether intentional or due to negligence in rinsing bottles, is grounds for serious charges of child endangerment and negligence. Clearly, there are potential mental health, substance abuse, or other issues afflicting the mother that need to be addressed if she is unfit to safely care for her child. This is a heartbreaking case of what appears to be severe negligence and dangerous behavior by the mother that rightfully led to her arrest. The top priorities need to be protecting the baby's well-being and getting the mother proper assistance, whether that's mental health treatment, rehab, or other services. But her actions forsaking that child's safety are unacceptable. We now have the case of Ricardo Castillo. This incident involves the premeditated attempted murder and planned sexual assault of an 11-year-old girl by a 24-year-old man named Ricardo Castillo in Plainfield Township, Michigan. The level of depravity and lack of humanity displayed by the perpetrator is truly sickening. After breaking into a home in the early morning hours, Castillo deliberately sought out a vulnerable victim, entering multiple rooms until he found an 11-year-old girl sleeping at a friend's house. Court documents allege he undressed himself with the intent to not only kill the child, but to then violate her body in an act of necrophilia after her murder. Castillo got on top of the sleeping 11-year-old and began stabbing her in the arm and shoulder before her screams alerted the homeowner. His unthinkable actions were only stopped from escalating further due to the homeowner's intervention. The young victim, who did not deserve such horror inflicted upon her, remains hospitalized in stable condition. The suspect has allegedly been forthcoming with investigators about his motives and actions that night, making the premeditated nature of his crimes all the more chilling. He reportedly traveled to the neighborhood armed and intent on home invasion to find a vulnerable target to assault. Castillo now faces extremely serious charges, including assault with intent to commit murder, first-degree home invasion, criminal sexual conduct with intent to commit penetration, felony firearm possession, and more. His willingness to brutally attack a child is unforgivable. This case has undoubtedly inflicted severe trauma on the young victim, her family, the homeowner who witnessed the attack, and the entire community. Ensuring the survivor and her loved ones receive long-term counseling and support must be a priority as they reckon with this act of evil. Castillo himself has demonstrated a complete disregard for human life and decency that defies comprehension. Rehabilitation seems unlikely for someone capable of such intended atrocities against a child. The student seemed depressed. In text messages with the student, Lee joked about the gummies' potency, saying she had tried them herself and felt zooted for a few hours, as detailed in the affidavit of probable cause. Lee faces charges of felony drug possession and corruption of minors and is currently in custody after failing to post a $20,000 bail. It is unclear if she has legal representation. Delaware County District Attorney Jack Stolsteimer condemned the allegations, describing them as profoundly troubling and harmful to the community. He emphasized that school crossing guards hold a vital public trust role responsible for the safety of children. The affidavit revealed that it was commonly known among Penwood students that Lee was supplying the student with e-cigarettes and gummies. 2 students informed school staff that they had seen Lee with the girl and observed her giving the girl e-cigarettes multiple times. One student reported hearing the girl talk about smoking marijuana with Lee. Another mentioned that the girl often asked Lee about getting a new vape and had shown other students marijuana. The girl's mother told police that Lee started giving her daughter e-cigarettes after the girl had been suspended for having one at school. Upon confrontation, Lee admitted to the mother that she had bought the marijuana gummies from a smoke shop in Derby. In response to these events, Derby Borough officials expressed their deep concern and placed Lee on administrative leave. An arrest has been made in connection with the death of 15-year-old Ahliana Dickey, who was found dead in her Lowell apartment after missing her 8th grade graduation on Friday. Trevor Bady, 21, from Tewksbury, is accused of shooting Dickey in her Lawrence Street home and faces multiple charges, including murder and armed home invasion. He is held without bail following his appearance in Lowell District Court on Tuesday. The police reported that Dickey and Bady were in an abusive relationship, with Bady having previously hit and threatened her. On June 14th, when Dickey did not attend her graduation, her family discovered her body with gunshot wounds in her bedroom. Earlier that morning, just after midnight, police responded to a call about a fight in the neighborhood. A witness reported hearing a woman scream, "Get off me! Get away from me! I don't want to be with you anymore," followed by gunshots. Although police arrived in the area, they could not locate the couple. Surveillance footage later showed Bady leaving Dickey's home shortly after midnight on June 14th. It was also revealed that Bady used an Uber to travel to and from the scene before and after the murder. 2 days before her death, Dickey had confided in someone that Bady had threatened her life and her grandmother's, stating he would shoot up her house. This tragedy raises concerns about why there was no intervention from Dickey's parents or the authorities to protect her from this abusive relationship. Given that the age of consent in Massachusetts is 16, it was illegal for Bady to be involved with Dickey, further highlighting the need for protective measures that were not in place. These stories are not here to glorify the inhuman acts committed. The information was used from different media outlets across the internet. We hope to shed light on these situations for community awareness and do not intend to harm or cause malice to the persons mentioned. If you found the content informative and would like more like this, let's grow the channel by hitting the subscribe button.